Good morning. My name is Richard Gellman. I'm an orthopedic surgeon. I practice in Portland, Oregon, and I became involved with Sign about 15 years ago. In the beginning, I simply lectured about different types of foot and ankle fractures to teach the Sign surgeons at the Sign conference. I began teaching deformity correction at the Sign conference itself, doing what I would consider basic courses. And out of those courses that were done on a yearly basis, I became good friends with several of the surgeons in Nigeria and in Kenya who encouraged me to come and do some teaching and training in their institutions. And as the years have gone by, we've continued this work, expanding out into the Philippines as well as Nigeria. This is a patient that we treated in the Philippines with Dr. June Valera. And this young woman is 15 years old. She has a condition called Blount's disease that affected both of her legs, both in the thigh bones, the femurs, as well as the tibias. And so this young woman was not able to walk more than a few steps with the use of a walker because her legs were so bowed. And so this type of correction involves fairly complicated planning and techniques. And so Dr. Valera and I collaborated on the planning. This is step one for this young woman. The plan was to fix her femurs with a sign nail, and then we can't really do that as well with the leg bones where the majority of the deformity lies. And so we would use these techniques of deformity correction and gradually correct the deformity in the tibia, like you see here, with a device called a talar spatial frame. So a talar spatial frame is this external fixator, and the 6 struts that you can see on the x-ray are controlled by a computer program, and they allow you to correct both the angular deformity as well as rotational deformities simultaneously. This device has been out in the United States for about 20 years and has now been expanded. And we've now been able to take this abroad because fortunately the software is all internet-based and is available through the companies. So we can take our recycled materials from patients in the United States, and we can redistribute those abroad and use those to correct deformities internationally. This is a slide of us completing this young woman's surgery with in the Philippines. And then the really exciting thing for me is after the left side had healed up, Dr. Valera then went and did the right side by himself. And this is a slide of this young woman with her frame on, this Elizarov frame on, sitting in her wheelchair, and her leg is now nice and straight. We're just waiting for the bone to heal. And then in the final slide, here she is with the frame now off and her full correction and her smile. So it was very gratifying to train Dr. Valera, who had not done these techniques, and then see him be able to carry this on by himself. Sign's bioskills lab will greatly help training for deformity correction. The surgeons need to have a hands-on ability to put these frames, which the bioskills labs provide. We can do that with what are called sawbones, which are just plastic models of the bones as step one, and then we can move into actual application on cadavers that really bring home the techniques on how to do cutting the bones, called osteotomies, how to accurately work with the frame application and stay away from vital structures that are only present on a cadaver. But the bioskills lab teaching allows us to do that both remotely by creating high quality videos and then doing Zoom conferences with question and answer, or bringing surgeons to the United States for intensive training that they can then immediately translate into their communities. And one thing to understand about deformity correction is we're not used to seeing people with crooked limbs in the United States because we have such a high level of care and our applications are done much less frequently. But when you talk to surgeons abroad, it is extremely common in their clinics on a daily basis to have large numbers of patients with these very challenging problems. And so what we're doing and what we're able to do with the BioSkills Lab will have an enormous impact on every one of these countries that Sign currently has dedicated surgeons, where Sign has dedicated surgeons. So that's 50 countries across the world. I really am inspired that we have the ability to train and deliver these tools to make even the most complicated patient a reachable goal for the Sign surgeons. It takes effort, certainly it takes work to coordinate training, but we have succeeded in correcting the most complicated deformities in very modest operating rooms that many people that I've talked to in the orthopedic societies thought was impossible. So not only have we done it, but we are setting up a model where it will continue and can grow. So I believe the strength of Sign is the people, and I think the strength of any organization is always about people. Lou Zirkle founded Sign based on a very simple principle that applies to every one of us, which is you're really going to feel the most satisfied in life if you help another person. There's really nothing material that delivers the same deep happiness than helping someone in need, because it shows how we're all connected. That patient who is lying in a bed in Indonesia that inspired Lou is no different than helping someone within your own family, that we are on this planet as one big family. I think the events that have recently occurred really drive that home, that, if one person can't breathe, we all can't breathe. And that when we work with this group of surgeons that Lou has, I would say, put together one at a time, one visit at a time, one handshake at a time, one visit into the operating room at a time, we have collected a unique organization dedicated to really helping and to learning. I just feel very honored to participate, and I know that there are 5,000 Sign surgeons around the world ready, willing, and able to really help, and that is overwhelming, and it's such a great thing to be a part of. I don't think there's any other way to help than with an organization like Sign.